Hi everyone, and thanks for joining me for another video of rooting around. Today we're going to be going through making sure that our switch is up to date with the latest iOS version. In the last video I went through how to reset your Cisco switch so that you can remove any of the old config on it and repurpose the switch for something like a home lab setup. Now what I want to do is make sure that I'm running the most up-to-date software that Cisco have released for the switch. So I'm going to start off by using the command show version, and this is going to show me what the switch is currently running, and the current iOS version that it's running. So now that I've run the show version command, I'm now going to be able to take this model number, which I have for my current switch, and I'm going to go to cisco.com. I'm going to go to their downloads page. What I can do is just copy and paste my model version into the search bar. Okay, and I know I've got the 48 switch. Let's just go back to my model that I have. So I know it's a Catalyst 2960X. It's a 48 FPD and it's L. So I'm going to take this image here and I'm going to click iOS software. And I can see that the latest version is 15.2.7. If I go back to the version that I'm running, I'm currently running 15.27 E7. This is actually E10. So what I'm going to do is download this and get this onto the switch that I'm running. What's really helpful is if you look at the release version here, and then it has these two characters. If you open up this, it explains what each of these characters mean. The one we're looking at is MD, which is a maintenance deployment. That means that Cisco have released this just to improve any bugs that might have been in the last release and provide us with bug fixes. So once I click the download button, which is just here, it's then going to ask where I want to download this file to. And I'm just going to show you on the second camera that I've got set up here. So here I've got my USB drive, and this is what I'm going to use to move the iOS file that I download from cisco.com, and I'm going to use this to move the file onto the switch. Now it's really important that I check the format of this drive before using it, and I need to make sure that the format of the drive is FAT32, and I'm going to move the version that I want over to my USB drive. Perfect. That's now done. I'm going to now remove my USB from my computer. I'm now going to take my USB stick and I'm going to put it in the first port that's closest to my console cable. And what we should see in the CLI is that USB flash 0 has been inserted. Perfect, that's what we wanted to see. So I'm going to hit enter on this here. Let's click on the window and hit enter. Okay, now what I want to do is enter enable mode. This enters the privileged mode on the CLI. And I'm going to run a command which is show file systems. And I'm going to hit enter. This now shows me all of the flash drives that I have available. And as we can see at the bottom, we've got my USB flash drive, which contains my Cisco image that I want to install. I'm now going to use the command copy USB flash 0, and I'm going to put a colon. Now, something that I did as I copied it over was that I copied down the file name that I want to copy onto the switch. The reason I've done that is so that I can copy it from a notepad and paste the file name into my CLI window, which I've done here. Destination, file name. Perfect. Okay, so what I've set up here is that it's going to copy from the USB and it's going to copy it to the flash drive, which I have got enough space on from using the show file systems. It's then just asking what I want to call the file once I've copied it over. I'm going to keep the file names the same, so that's fine. Okay, so this can take a couple of minutes to copy, but that's fine. We'll just skip ahead in the video. It can be like watching paint dry when you're copying the files across. The more you watch it, the slower it goes, obviously. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes now, still copying. I think I've picked a very slow USB drive to do the copy. Okay, as you can see, my file has now finished copying across from my USB stick, and it took a grand total of 1,440 seconds, which equates to about 24 minutes. It's my fault, I should have picked a faster USB stick, but something to learn from. Moving on, I'm going to use this command here, which is a directory, and then I'm going to search for the flash. What I've done, this command didn't work, so I've done directory and then question mark, and this was the this was what I was looking for here. So I needed to just not use the 0. When I've run that, I can now see my image is on the switch itself, and it's actually the top line here that comes up. So now what I need to do to make sure the switch is using that image, I need to type in the command conft, and that'll allow me to configure the terminal. So now we're in configuration mode. The command I want to run is boot system /0, and then I want to copy my file name that I took earlier. So I'll copy and paste that into the line there, and I'll hit enter. Now that that's there, I'm going to hit exit. Okay, so after using the show version command, I can see the switch is still using its old image. So the command I'm going to type in now is reload. System configuration has been modified, save, yes. It's building the configuration, confirm with the reload, yeah. I'll just hit return for that. Okay, reload requested by console, reload reason, reload command. And then you can see now that I've lost connection using my PuTTY terminal, so I'm going to click OK. Okay, so this is me now just booting up the switch post reloading. So I ran the reload command, and hopefully it should boot using the file we specified. Okay, so this is the switch just booting back up after the initial reload command was hit. As you can see here, the version has actually upgraded to the version that we had on the USB drive and copied across to the switch. So we can now confirm after it's booted up into the correct version firmware. Thanks for following me along on this one. It's been a little bit of a longer process just because of various different config things like the slow USB stick and just running some commands or figuring out what commands to run. As I say, that question mark that you can use on the CLI is very useful, and it really helps in a lot of situations. Just to put this into perspective, if you have 20 or so switches on your site and you need to keep the firmware up to date, it's a very long process doing it this way. Thankfully, there's other tools that we can use. For example, Catalyst Center, we're now able to automate this process. So the only work we have to do is just schedule in when the software will distribute and when it will install on the switch. Because that reboot is needed, the switch will go offline for a certain amount of time and then come back up. So ideally, we need to do this out of hours or during a maintenance window. So yeah, join me for the next one, guys. Thank you.